Good morning YouTube, it is Friday the April the 3rd and this is my video for Saturday April the 4th, day 4 of my VEDA 2015 project. So I left the house about 8 o'clock in the morning and began to make my way into town and to the bus station. I was visiting Buckfast-Lee to see my ex-partner and very good friend Pam, who'd broken her ankle a month ago and in the recent stormy weather had had problems with her allotment and asked for help. So I boarded the bus and away we went. We were soon clear of the city centre, and it wasn't long before we were navigating the roundabout at Countess Weir and passing out of the city limits. And I realised it had been 20 years since I'd last lived in the city, and I'd always swore I'd never go back, and yet here I was, almost 18 months into my new lifestyle, and I was really enjoying it. I will admit, however, that I felt a pang of homesickness as we passed into the familiar environs of Ashburton, and when we came round the mini roundabout into Buckfast-Lee, I couldn't wait to see the old town again. I took a moment to look over Millennium Green and get my bearings before walking up the High Street, taking note of what was still the same and what had changed since I'd last been here. Then I walked up towards the Co-op and to Pam's flat. We appear to have some missing footage here. Well, suffice to say that Pam and I went out for a coffee together, and then we went off to Newton Abbot to get some shopping from a couple of high street supermarkets, who, for legal reasons, we won't name at this juncture. Oops. Ah well, no harm done. When we got back from shopping, we returned to the purpose of my visit and went up to the allotment. It was quite clear when we got there that there was far more work that needed to be done than we could do that afternoon. The storm had blown down some of the pallets and ironwork, and rats had dug their way into the chicken coop, meaning the birds wouldn't be safe until we'd redug the entire run. Oh, I don't believe it. The footage has gone again. I do apologise for this. When we got back to Pam's, we decided to have some dinner and watch a couple of DVDs. The films we chose were The Imitation Game with Benedict Cumberbatch, absolutely brilliant, and Christopher Nolan's Interstellar, which I must confess I was so tired by this point that I did doze off a few times in the earlier parts of it, but I did thoroughly enjoy what I watched and intend to go back and watch it again. Once the movies were done, it was time to settle into bed, ready for the next day. Next morning saw me on a bus again, not heading towards Exeter, but Totnes, a trip that I'd done many times before when I was at college at Dartington, and something that was tinged with nostalgia as I went over the Riverford Bridge and looked down at the railway track and the River Dart. We soon found ourselves by the Cider Press Centre and going round the roundabout onto the Totnes Road, following the bounds of the Dartington Hall estate. But wait a minute. What was that I just saw? Rewind the tape a moment. Go forwards, forwards, forwards. Stop! What's this? Totnes twinned with Area 51 Nevada? How ridiculous. Last I heard they were twinned with Narnia. We soon crested the hill, past the Kevik's footbridge saying welcome to Totnes, and I disembarked and walked into the train station. As I did so, I caught sight of the smokestack designed by Isambard Kingdom Brunel as part of the Great Western Railway. I picked up my tickets, crossed the footbridge, and caught the train that soon arrived to take me through Exeter and on to Taunton to see my daughter. The coastal leg of the journey was once more tinged with nostalgia, as I remembered the very first time I'd come down to Dartington and gazed out across the sea as it crashed against the railway line. It wasn't long, though, before that was behind us as well, and I found myself in Taunton and walked to the play centre to see Nicola. I'm sorry, let me turn that down for you. This is the last time that will happen, I promise. I don't actually have any footage of me and Nicola at the play centre, but we did have a lovely time together. But it wasn't long before I got back on a train in Taunton and found myself passing through the idyllic Devonshire and Somerset countryside all the way back to my new home city of Exeter. After that, there isn't really much more to tell. I went out of the station, got on a bus, took it all the way back into the city centre, and walked home, went through my front door, came up the stairs, opened my door, and sat down to edit this video.